Today I'm going to be showing the first of a series of videos where I'm trying to flip as many nightstands as I can at the same time. I found these 8 Fleetwood nightstands that are all in good condition structurally, that are not the color people desire anymore, and I brought them all home. I'm very excited about it. And I can't take credit for the idea of a video series. I need to give that to Abby Askew. She did a video series about 6 months ago on thrifting as many nightstands as she could in assembly line style. I would highly recommend her video series. It's really great. I'm going to be trying to learn from the mistakes that she made, and I have the benefit of her having made the series so that I can know what mistakes I might make. One of the things was she spent a little too much time shopping. You saw I found all these at the same time, so that issue resolved. A second thing that she had issue with was she bought too many because she didn't have the space to be working on as many as she was at the same time. Of course, that would vary by person, how many you could flip simultaneously. I decided that 8 would be comfortable for me. After scratching all these stickers up and putting some Windex on to soak, I'm peeling them off and then I'll go back in with Goo Gone. It's a method that works well enough. If you have a more effective method in mind, please let me know what that is. Another thing that I took from Abby Askew's video, which I don't recall if she had mentioned it or not, was that she spent a lot of time in trying to get nightstands to match and doing structural changes that weren't necessary or decorative changes that weren't necessary. She had a lot of nightstands, but not all of them were perfect matches, and so she was trying to get them to match better with each other. At the end, if they didn't match that well, they still sold well, so it might have been work she didn't have to do. The other thing that's Dawn dish soap and water, by the way. It's my go-to degreaser. The other thing was that the wood effect was harder to sell. She went with black and white and wood effect to try to get some comparisons on those. And the wood effect was harder to sell because people weren't sure it would match. That was her theory, I believe. And so I will be learning from all of those lessons thanks to Abby Askew. I'm going to stop saying Abby Askew's name over and over again. I just really want to give credit where credit is due for the idea of attempting to flip as many side tables or nightstands as possible in assembly line fashion, because I think it's important. Cleaning is the first step, as it always is after purchase, and getting the stickers off took a lot longer than I had hoped or expected. It's why I ask you if you've got a better suggestion than what I have done, which was scraping it, Windexing it, soaking it in that, then Goo Gone, soaking it again before Dawn dish soap. I would like to know what works better. I'm not going to be changing where the hardware holes are. I am planning to paint some of the hardware, dependent on what finish I have, though. There are a few of these pieces that have water damage on the top, and I'm going to show you a very creative way of handling that water damage that I haven't seen anybody else do, but I've done it myself and it's been very effective and looks pretty good too. The Dawn and soapy water, I am really letting that water soak on the top because these are pretty filthy. It is amazing what people will do in a hotel, apparently. These were from a hotel, that's why they were at Habitat for Humanity. And how much gum is stuck in different places is very silly to me, but that's okay. So I soaked in soapy water. I use my drill attachment so that it can do the elbow grease part for me. And I found that cleaning these and prepping them to an enormous extent felt like active meditation. It was enjoyable. I was excited to be getting closer to my goal and to be able to think about what I'll do next during this time. It was really nice. I admit that I started flagging, I guess is my energy started flagging, maybe that's the correct phrase. It gets tiresome. You're not going to see it during this video where I feel like maybe I don't want to do this anymore, but I don't have a choice because I'm still quite excited about it. I could see how it would be beneficial for someone to include other creative things in their day. If you're a very creative person and you want to be flipping furniture assembly line style, you're going to need a creative outlet for part of your life, because it's not going to be the part where you're flipping furniture in assembly line style, except arguably when it comes time for the finish. I think so far what I have gleaned from doing this is that doing all the prep work in advance on multiple pieces really saves a lot of time. I don't have to take out the same cleaning supplies over and over again. I don't have to take out the same wood filler over and over again. I don't have to remove hardware over and over. All of the steps are easier to do when getting the supplies ready is included. And then also there's a speed that comes with it, because I get comfortable with the piece and get a real feel for where everything needs to be done. A mistake I make on the first one, I don't make on the second. A mistake I make on the second, I don't make on the third. So eventually, by the time I get to the fourth nightstand on any given piece of the project that I'm working on, or the eighth nightstand, it will be dramatically improved, and I'm doing things faster and better. And so I see enormous advantage in having multiple pieces, whether they're assembly line for the entirety or not, but as many pieces as I can fit together to prep together it would save a lot of time. Now I'm rinsing out that soapy water that I put in the recycling and also from my pail, and going to add some clean water so that I can rinse off that Dawn residue. Once again, I'm going to be using a rag and the squeegee. Part of my concern about doing this series was the tedium involved might bother the viewers, but then I thought about it, and so much of the audience that likes to watch furniture flipping is the same audience that likes to watch cleaning videos. Or I don't think the tedium is something that bothers so many viewers. I think in many ways it's very relaxing to watch someone else be productive and get something done, and there's a certain satisfaction to it. And so hopefully you gain satisfaction from watching me clean 8 nightstands very, very well over the course of, well, I think later I'll tell you how much time I spent on this day. I did manage to get all of the cleaning done on the same day, and my prep time thus far has been a lot less than Abby Askew's, but my final product I doubt is going to be as good as most of hers. And so while I'm saving time on the front end, because I don't have products that are going to sell as well on the back end, it may be that she ends up with a better plan than I have. I'm hoping that's just me being self-deprecating for some reason that I don't understand, but I doubt it. These pieces are in good shape structurally, but they're not wood. All the drawers slide very nicely, but maybe when they're painted, they'll be more on trend and more desirable. I was looking at Pottery Barn's catalog the other day, and I saw some pieces that really resembled these in the body, and so that gave me a lot of hope that they may be able to sell for more than I might have initially thought. Their purchase price was $20 each. I am being tired right there and looking at YouTube, I bet. And then I'm back, ready to get to the next step of this, which is going to be to vacuum out all of the drawers. The interior of the drawers were surprisingly clean compared to the outside, or at least I think for residential use that would be true. Of course, at a hotel, you're more likely to put things on the nightstand than in the nightstand, so it explains why the drawers are pretty immaculate, where as the rest of the piece had quite a lot of I don't want to know what on them. That leads me to doing an inspection of all of the pieces, making sure I know where the water damage is. You can see it in the lighting there some, and all of these have an inlay of laminate, and there's real wood on the outside. When you see an inlay in furniture like that at the top, it's usually an indicator that you've either got laminate or veneer, and I'm tired by now. So far I've spent 5 hours on the side tables. That includes getting them and cleaning them, and you should click like. I'm tired. Run to the store the next day to get a few different things for the project, that 123 sprayer that you see among them. And I got some Rust-Oleum door trim, bin shellac primer I was out of, and extra water-based polyurethane. I'm taping where there are issues that I see to alert myself where I'm going to need to make repairs later, and it's time to get that hardware out. I end up stripping a couple of these screws before I manage to get it right. And this process is where I notice how much I improve and get faster over time. What I'm doing with each one of these is removing the drawer, removing the hardware, taping down the slides that are metal, because if I move them around, those slides can come out and hurt me later on. You might accidentally run into them. And labeling each drawer. So remove the drawer, take out the hardware, label the drawer, label the back of the nightstand, tape down the metal. And I do that again and again and again and again. The fronts of these have a bamboo look, though it's quite obviously not real bamboo. The hardware also has kind of a bamboo shape to it. It looks on video right now, it looks just like they're plain silver, but they have some detailing to them, which I like well enough. I think that I'm gonna do gold for some of them, maybe for most of them. And the choices that I'm making on paint is going to be to have black and white and no wood tones, except for the tops of two of the white and a wood effect on the tops of two of the black. So of the 8 pieces that I have, I'll be doing 4 white, 4 black, and one set of white will have a faux effect on the top, and one set of black will have a faux effect on the top, which is part of how I'm going to be able to hide the water damage. One of the temptations that I keep having with these nightstands, and part of the reason why I think that flipping furniture in an assembly line style is not meant for me, is I want to make minor changes for reasons that I feel would be more aesthetically pleasing, though that's just my opinion. It's not that it would be inherently better or worse if I left it as is, but I do want to make changes, and I am doing my best to resist doing anything more than what is necessary to get these to be sellable. Doing a Pottery Barn style finish, for example, I would like to do take one of the pairs and have the drawer fronts mixed with, covered with Bondo and wood filler, and then sanded down so that the drawer fronts are smooth. Add different hardware. These are things that I do not need to do, and so I am not going to be doing them because they would take more time without adding more value, if what you consider to be valuable money. If you would like to send me $1, you can do that at Venmo at Adeline Redesign. I would take $1 because I don't want to be doing assembly style furniture flipping as my career. I would rather be doing teaching and creativity and have videos so that we can learn together. That's my end goal with starting the YouTube channel, and hopefully I'll get there before funds run out. Artists throughout history have needed patrons, so I feel okay about that. It's just the way of the world. Again, on each of these nightstands, I took the drawer out, I took the hardware out, I taped the slides down, I labeled the back of the drawer, I labeled the back of the nightstand, and then I set the drawer to the side. As monotonous as doing this 8 times in a row was, it did allow me a lot of time to think, and part of that was in thinking about what I would do if I could do it. Next episode will begin with repairing the water damage. I hope you join me there.